to another edition of the Gator Nation Football Podcast. I'm your host, James DiVirgilio, and this week we'll be looking at Florida's defense versus Utah's offense. Coach Austin Armstrong with his debut for the Gators, a coordinator I affectionately call Coach Ham of the Great Hambino from Sandlot, bringing the energy, bringing some new tactics, and bringing what I think was some significantly improved play despite the mishaps that did occur. We're going to dive into all of that and more on this episode. As always, if you like the content, sub to this channel, follow us on social media, check out the podcast each and every Monday where we bring you in-depth analysis on the Gators, and drop us a dono to support our efforts to bring you more content like this. Last but not least, we do have merch this season. If that's something you're interested in, check out the link in the description for more GNFP gear. Without further ado, let's take a look what the film says about this very disappointing team performance, but perhaps encouraging defensive performance.
All right, will the Great Hambino's defense live up to the hype? Will Coach Austin Armstrong debut well for Florida, or will Florida's defense continue its modern struggles? First play of the game, if you were like me, you were hyped up about seeing what Florida does. Early on, you can see the split safety at work. Motion, we're going to bring a safety down in the box here. Marshall then becomes the edge defender, passing this off. Single high, we're playing man. Already a change. A lot of guys in the box line of scrimmage. Coming here with a nickel pressure. And unfortunately, no pressure gets there. And I want you to focus on the part of your screen you're going to lose, because this is how TV can deceive you. You don't see this when you're watching television because you see this. You're watching this back here and saying, oh man, he's got a lot of time. Then that's off your screen. The next thing you see is a ball flying in the air, and then, oh man, is that our safety? What the heck is he doing over here? That's RJ Moten, the Michigan transfer, and oh, he's not going to get there, and then he's going to take out, oh no, is that Jason Marshall? Yep, he's going to take him out. And to the house we go. Money Parks, one of the best names in all of college football, finishes that play, and we are off and running. Backup quarterback, not even a backup quarterback, third-string quarterback pounding his chest, feeling himself. There's your potential first-round pick in Jason Marshall, not feeling himself. What exactly happened here? Utah down 8 starters, down Cam Rising, down their best tight end, starting some freshman offensive linemen. No problem. All right, here's the look we want to see from the sky cam. Let's stop it right here and take a look at the routes we're going to get. Focus on the aforementioned Miguel Mitchell, who is falling down, and he is going to lose right here control of his man. Now notice that RJ Moten is doing the right thing. He's staying with the deepest man who's about to run this post. He's backpedaling. He's open correctly. He's ignoring this crosser here because it is more shallow than this route here. But now you're going to see him open up when he sees this, right? And you can see that's Kurt Herbstreit writing on the screen, not me. But he sees this. That looks bad. Looks like a faceplant. Looks like we're going down. Looks like quarterback's got a lot of time in the pocket. Looks like he's looking in this direction. These are all very reasonable thoughts. Ball's probably going to come out right here to a wide open guy. Third string quarterback. Can he throw it this far? I've got Jason Marshall, my best corner over here. I'm going to come down and help my boy, Miguel. Except that's not where Barnes was ever looking. He was just looking to see if the safety was going to keep going this way, and he's throwing it over his head. There it is. Ball's away. This would have obviously been a wide open, easy throw. Imagine Moten stays up top on this throw. This throw becomes very easy. May very well have become a touchdown anyway. Would have been a big gain. And instead, we get this ugly highlight right here where he almost gets there, takes out Jason Marshall. Touchdown. So in all reality, this is where the issue started. Moten causes Marshall to fall. Moten, if he does his job, is the single high safety with the deepest route, who then is pointing fingers at Mitchell saying, what happened, man? You can't lose that guy like that. I have to stay with the deepest route. Instead, RJ Moten's sort of the one that gets trolled on this. Everyone sees that right here, this sort of helpless Oh no, not like this, please. I'm in here. I'm at Florida. My dad played here. Don't do it to me. And it happens. Important takeaways from this first play. The coverage Florida was in, perfectly fine and adequate, playing man versus Utah. Utah gets way too much time. That's the problem that we have here, is Florida's 5-man rush does not get home at all. And then really, if Mitchell's not falling down here, Florida is just fine. Coverage is fine. They're fine. They've got underneath here their linebackers. They're totally okay. But Mitchell's total lack of ability to play coverage here, take a look. He just starts grabbing right out of the gate. He just slides over and he's grabbing right here. Bam. I'm not even trying to play pass defense. That creates the problem. And that problem causes Moten to come down, which then causes this pass to get over the top and an instant touchdown. So, not a great start, to say the least. Utah up 7-0. After a Utah penalty, 1st and 15 on their second drive. See Jaden Hill down here. Here's Castell, Florida's freshman, playing safety. Let's see how this looks. Well, you're going to get some weird stuff here, as Jaden Hill is actually going to wind up double covering. Here's Castell, the flat man, and Utah has a wide open dig route above their head, but thankfully Florida dodges a bullet there, and instead we're slinging to this route, which is caught, tackle made by Scooby for a good gain on first down. But, early on, Florida still showing some signs of discombobulated communication, as we're going to see here. Not a perfect start, touchdown, then a nice little opening, 7.5, 8-yard play where there could have been more had he been looking to the middle of the field, but we live on. All right, 2nd and 6, and you're already going to see the first huge difference from Patrick Toney's defense. Look at Florida lining up with 6 men on the line of scrimmage, much more aggressive posturing to counter what Utah is doing here. Oftentimes we Florida staying at too high, which you see here. They're still too high, but committing far more members here to the line of scrimmage. And what is the result? Princely is going to get a win here, right there. There he is, shoots through, gets an instant win, breaks his play up in the backfield, does not make the tackle, but then Sapp is there to make the tackle, resulting in a very short gain. So early on, effective run defense from Florida, bringing up 3rd down. All right, 3rd and 10, we're wondering, is this year like last year? Are they going to convert 3rd downs with ease? We could never get off the field last year. Motion man, getting some information. Florida is not playing man defense. Nobody chases. Florida then comes out, as Armstrong will do, right? We're going to send just 4. Going to bring Trey Wingo back down here. All of a sudden, now we're in a full-blown zone defense. Full-blown zone, cover 3, 1, 2, and 3, right here, with your safety sitting right at the first down sticks, playing aggressive on any route that goes in there. Super clean pocket, tons of time here for Barnes. He is staring down this receiver. Here's Scooby right in between here with Wingo, and then this ball is zipped right into the pocket. A close here by Castell, who's looking for a first down. Now, is it possible that if you're Jordan Castell, you can close this faster? The answer is yes, you can. The only problem here is with no pressure being applied to the quarterback whatsoever, you can't exactly know the ball's going to come out right now. Like right now, he's not sure where that ball's going. He knows his job is to protect this portion. He knows that he doesn't have anything overhead of him because essentially they're functioning with a cover 3 really, and then bringing him down. We're going to allow these guys to handle anything that comes in a post or anything else like that. It's not his role. He can play aggressively here. Doesn't play quite aggressively enough, but again, it's harder to get a read on this when you don't have any pass rush there. If there's a pass rush there, he knows the ball's got to come out. He can jump this. He waits. It's completed just quite. Doesn't get there as fast. Still a nice play from a freshman, but again, you can see there that Armstrong has a play call on that is zone, but he has the right safety sitting in the right place to cover a route Utah runs. And we just don't quite execute it, and a 3rd and 10 becomes a first down, so maybe we're in for more of what we saw last year. Let's find out. All right, 1st and 10, Florida's going to blow a coverage right here. You can see some communication from Scooby. Wants him to rotate down. We can see the safeties are looking at each other. Again, Florida plays a split safety, That means on most plays, Florida's going to play one type of coverage on this side of the field and another on this side of the field. They're also going to pass off any motions in the backfield with a safety coming down to handle this. Very different than what Florida has done in previous years here. I like this style. It's largely what Nick Saban has done for a long time. I also think it's very effective for a variety of reasons we'll cover throughout the season. But for now, Florida does this here, and then Shamar James passes off a crosser to nobody. There's the pass off of the crosser. Unfortunately, pressure here, coverage here. Everything looks good. Feel like that's really nice. It's good pressure. We're there, except no one is here. That's Shamar. Again, pass that off to no one. And then you get a tackle made by Castell coming downhill nicely to stop this from being a bigger gain. But a blown coverage there, a complete bust on passing it off to nobody. Impossible to know whose fault that is, but a busted coverage nonetheless. So again, so far, everything looks, I would say, maybe the same, despite some different window dressing early on. The returns are not great at the start of this game. With the loss of Boone for Florida, there's a deficiency at rush end, and here is Florida's freshman, who had a sensational game. Spoiler alert here. Really pops on film. You're going to see this happen here. Is TJ Searcy. 3rd and 3 again. Are we going to get off the field? Is Florida capable of getting off the field? Well, what's different here already? Love this. Much closer. I like these splits here, matching the interior release receiver with a much tighter spread here. Love the posturing I'm seeing. Love what I see in the box, right? Much more aggressive than what we've seen under Tony in previous years. And the resulting play is absolutely fantastic. 4 men are coming, but look at the downhill run-stopping pressure occurring early here. Florida, the play call here is run. From the defense, they're expecting run. They're selling out for the run, and you get an instant win. I mean, look at Searcy right here. Just blow right through. Wham. Quick move to the inside. He is back here, shot out of a cannon, blowing this play up. Misses the tackle, but in to finish the tackle is Florida right here. 3rd and 3 gets stuffed. We have not seen a gap fill and gap control like this on film. We didn't see this last year. I spent almost every single episode talking about how Florida was not controlling the gaps. Take a look at this. All these gaps are accounted for with, look at this. That is what you want, right? Gap filled, filled, edge control. I mean, that's exactly what you want to see. Waves of defenders here helping to make a tackle. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. A stop on 3rd down. Maybe things are different. All right, 7-3. We've got ourselves a ball game here. Princely up top. Big sophomore here, Chris McClellan. And look at this already. Again, look at Florida. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys on the line of scrimmage. With Tony, we often had guys 2 or 3 yards behind the ball starting. Now it's almost like we're eager to get across line of scrimmage as soon as possible. That is a big change on film. And watch the discipline staying to the outside. We talked about this last year. So often you see Florida's defenders come flying to where the quarterback was, not where he was going. Marked difference this year. He is beating the quarterback to where he's going. Exactly what you want to do. We got great coverage here, double coverage here. There's nowhere to go with this football. We're going to absolutely just kill this play. And you can see big number 7 is going to wind up getting to the quarterback easily here. There he is, lumbering to the quarterback right there. And this is what I love. I want to have a poster of this on the wall in the defensive line room, in the linebacking room. I want to display this at the meetings all week long. This is how you control the edge. Notice how he came outside in to put pressure this way. He's not hitting him straight up where the quarterback could beat him to the outside. He is forcing the hardest throw and the safest play for the defense, funneling to here. This is textbook. That is how you do it. Take the angle there, make that happen. I've been begging for this. Incomplete pass. Beautiful play. That's fantastic stuff. That is a significant marker that, in fact, this defense already looks different on film. 2nd and 10, and now Florida gets to be the recipient of something we've also asked for. Take a look at Shamar James's lineup here. If you've watched these videos before, you know that here is your slot receiver and here is your tight end, or in this case, could be an offensive lineman, it's tight end here. You want to split the difference. Notice the splitting of the difference so that you can get to anything that may happen here in the backfield. Let's look at how this plays out for Florida right here. He's going to come with edge pressure. He's not too tight in here, where if they run this little flare out, it's tough. Now, Florida has numbers here to account for this. They're actually loaded up on this side. But even if they didn't, right, this is why you want to take this angle, split the difference. But look at the benefit this pays off. Again, by being here and not here on this play fake, he is still able to essentially handle the quarterback in case he keeps it. Look at the shoulder angle. He's outside his shoulder. And then, in case of any cutback to the backside, because Florida has erased this, look at big number 7 here, McClellan again. There's nowhere to go because he has time to close that down. Look at that. That's perfect positioning, great alignment. 2nd and 10 becomes 3rd down. Another way this defense already looks different just 1 quarter in. All right, 3rd and 6. Florida lining up too high here. Looks like man defense pre-snap, looking like man. Post-snap, it is in fact man. I'll pause it right here. Man, 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 man. I love the positioning by Florida. Look at the leverage by Florida right here. Where the numbers, we're going to stay inside, use the numbers as help defender. When we're inside here, we're funneling. Everyone is inside leverage. Everyone's inside leverage funneling to the sideline where you have your safety here. So all these routes, if they run vertical, they go here. Then your sideline helps you here. That's perfect, perfect, perfect football alignment. On top of that, we get a huge win here from Princely, who's going to blow up the right tackle, drive him all the way back into Barnes, who then is covered Wingo here in the flat. Boom, shut that junk down. Nothing there. 3rd and 6 becomes a whole lot of nothing, right? Awesome stuff. Another 3rd down stop for Florida. Not a great place to go with this football, making this as hard as possible by alignment for Utah and a stop. Now, again, Utah obviously significantly down players here, but this is still stuff Florida wasn't putting on film against anyone. So great to see the competency already paying dividends. Nate Johnson now in the game for Utah, a primarily run-oriented quarterback. And how does Florida counter immediately? By loading the box up with 10 guys. Significant difference from the previous year. 10 guys in the box. Now we're going to rotate the safety down with the motion. We're going to allow the corner to sync back with this route here. And this is what you call max aggression versus the wild Ute, right? Edge control here, edge control by the safety, fill the box up, stuff the middle, and basically play cover 0, right? They are not passing the ball here. You don't buy it. You call your run play accordingly, and you get a stop at just a couple of yards. I mean, significant difference from the previous season. I'm going to keep noting that here. I think a big reason why we're watching film is to see, is this defense any different? We did the same thing with the offense. What changed in the offseason? And here you're seeing some differences already. 2nd and 7, zone read here for Utah. We want to see how Florida handles this. Now, Florida's going to employ a scrape exchange. We're going to send Princely aggressively here in case the running back gets the ball, essentially exchanging his role for the linebacker's role, who now is going to be the edge defender. He's the new edge defender. This helps confuse the read of the quarterback, who thinks, oh, for sure he's diving, I'm going to keep it. The only problem here is Shamar essentially is trying to do 2 jobs at once. This is his job. He's responsible for this gap. Shamar is responsible for this gap. Shamar overplays his traditional positioning in the scrape exchange, gets caught here. He's, again, a quick athletic guy, but very quick athletic guy here, and he's a little underneath, takes a good recovery angle to recognize he's too shallow there, and that winds up being a conversion on a 1st down. However, if Shamar just stays in the scrape exchange lane he's in, that play call is perfect, and that essentially gets a whole lot of nothing. So Utah having some success now with the wild Ute. Florida confused here. You're going to get on the screen, Perkins is going to tell Princely to line up over here just before this film starts. Prince is like, nah, I'm going back over here, makes his own decision, only for the play to actually come right backside here. Florida a little misaligned there, and that winds up being a 1st down from a 1st down. So again, early on, we saw some play calls take a while. We saw some player confusion. All things you'd expect in the first game of the season. Utah still with just 7 points, 1 play, basically responsible for that. Obviously, Florida well within this football game. The defense kind of getting better as you're seeing minute by minute here, but now dealing with a new challenge of stopping Nate Johnson and the Wild Ute. Number 19 in the game again, TJ Searcy, flashed once already. Let's see what happens here on 1st and 10. Going to squeeze right through here. Boom. Attack the ball carrier. Let's make a tackle. But more than just that, let's look on film at how Florida's linebackers are filling gaps, something we just didn't even see last year. Here's the Ohio State product, Taraja Mitchell, flying through here into the edge, into the C gap. Bam, right? Bam. Take on this H-back head on. Blow that up. Leave your edge defender still here. We almost never saw that last year. We talked a lot about it. We're seeing it already. You get a double win. Blow this up. Leave a free defender here. Get a tackle here. Right? Shamar James scraping across. Great defense on 1st and 10 to hold this to just 1 yard. All right, 2nd and 8. Nate Johnson's going to lose the snap here, right here. But look already how Florida wins at the start of this. Look at this. Win, 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 right? And this is not a passing play. It's a running play. You get an instant block right here. Not sure what the call exactly was going to be here. Potentially a toss. But Florida already, I mean, look at the gap control here. This is beautiful. This is not something we saw. Love seeing it here. Florida goes in the backfield, makes a tackle. This is up a long 3rd down. All right, 3rd and 12. You know what we don't see? We don't see Florida sitting in too high, way off the ball. In fact, look at this. Florida showing some aggressive posturing here, looking like man defense, and it is going to be man defense. This makes sense. Not a throwing quarterback. Nate Johnson, not known for his accuracy. We're comfortable. Florida's safeties in the future, especially under Coach Ham / Coach Armstrong, whichever you prefer to call him. We love Coach Ham here on the podcast. But you have Jordan Castell, your freshman, outside leverage, funneling this to the inside here to your other safety, knowing it's 3rd down and 12. Let's watch his technique. This is where the ball's going to go. Stays to the outside, slant route comes, clamps down on it, closes, makes an immediate tackle and a play on the ball. Boom. That is great defense. 4th down. Excellent work there, Devin Moore. 4th down and short. That is excellent defense from a true freshman. And again, shades of things to come perhaps for Florida's defense here. Really good stuff. Good play call, good execution. That's the kind of completed pass you want to have against your defense. It takes everything just to complete that route on 3rd and 12 and setting up decision time for Utah. After a fail by Florida special teams where 2 number 3s were on the field, that's already gotten a lot of coverage, so I'll leave that there for now. Florida's defense back on the field. They get a stop on 1st down with an incomplete pass, and now it's 2nd down. Here's Perkins, a guy who I love in man coverage. He pops on film in man. However, the film also tends to show that he doesn't always do the right thing and or know what his job is, and I think you're going to see an example of that here as well. So 2nd and 10, Florida playing a tight front, T-I-T-E. That's going to keep all 5 of these defenders inside of the tackles for Utah when you're facing a spread look. As you see here from Utah, even though Nate Johnson not in the game on this play, when you're facing a spread look, this allows you to tell the opposing team essentially, I will not let you run to the inside. If you want to run your spread offense, you're going to run it to the outside, and I'm going to funnel, as you can see here, I'm going to funnel any running that you do to my boundary players who will be lined up accordingly for that. So the tight front, a popular way to counter spread teams. On this 2nd down and 10 play, however, Perkins is going to, I think it's just going to blow this. He's looking at the quarterback. He's sort of freewheeling and doing what he wants, except the problem is his other defensive mates have gone back into their zones, and someone needs to be in the flat. Nobody's in the flat. Wide open, easy money. Down the field they go. There's some looks here as to whose fault this is, what's going on, a lot of looking around. And, I got to believe probably Perkins' fault there. I don't know, just most likely given the history. Again, I love the guy as a player when he gets to play right, when he gets to play wrong, stuff like this happens. So still shades of last year in that regard. All right, 1st and 10, let's highlight Taraja Mitchell here. Again, the transfer from Ohio State. Now, Taraja is more of just a space filler until I think Florida's linebackers can be more talented. That's not a slight on him. He's a guy who was talented at high school, just couldn't quite crack Ohio State's lineup. Is a nice player, veteran presence. I think that's helping Florida. Does a lot of things right. And here I think you're seeing all of Florida's linebackers making big improvements, especially with how they scrape across the formation. We saw so often last year that they'd often be passive, just kind of watching and waiting. He's going to diagnose here. This is the gap he wants to fill. Look at him explode through. Because of that decisive move, this block does not occur. Now, last year, we saw this block happening all the time. Our linebackers would just be buried behind these blocks. They were of no help. We did not see that in this game. He evades that block. Because of that, he fills this gap, comes flying through, slows down the running back, tackle made by a bevy of Gators. Again, significant improvement right there with how Florida's linebackers are scraping and filling gaps and the gap control of Florida's defensive line in general. Those two things working together made for, I think, a very successful day in Florida stopping Utah's run, especially when Nate Johnson was not in the game. That was significant for Florida. 2nd and 8, Nate Johnson back in the game now. Motion, man coverage. Utah knows they're in man. They're going to like this look. It means they're going to try to get Nate Johnson one-on-one. Now, Florida is perfectly and adequately ready for this situation. Unfortunately, what happens here is Taraja Mitchell comes flying through the gap. Again, we're in man defense. Man, right? We're in man D here. We got a protection defender here on this side. On this side, we're in man, which means that Mitchell cannot come flying through here. He does not have the help for this. Flies through, and now we're in some trouble. One more time. Play action, right? No edge defender to read. We're staying home here. Theoretically, this ball should be a handoff because we're staying home. He's going to keep it. He's looking to pass. These are all passing routes. This play's kind of busted up. We're manned up. We're covering it really well. It's a good play call. But because Mitchell comes flying in so hard on against a quick guy, cannot get his feet in the ground. Now Princely's playing man coverage here. We're turning up the field. Our next unblocked defender is R.J. Moten, the Michigan transfer, Ohio State, Michigan, Big Ten football, quick guy from California. And boom. He's shook right there. He's gone. Not going to touch him. Off to the races. Touchdown. Really unfortunate. Florida's defense, again, in position there. You actually have two defenders that are able to stop this play. If all goes well, you've already blown up the pass play. Mitchell comes in and gets a stop for a no gainer. If not, then you have help here from your safety. It's a first down. You live to fight another day. Teams are going to gain yards against you. They're going to have plays that work against you. And unfortunately, 0 for 2 there in the missed tackle department. Florida did tackle very well in this football game for the most part. 2 missed ones here, and Florida's down 14-3. Despite showing signs of promise on defense, they've still given up 2 big plays and are down 14-3. Of course, this play never would have happened had Florida not had the special teams gaffe. After a muffed punt by the special teams setting up Utah in Florida's territory, the defense is back at it again. Here is TJ Searcy again. Every time we seemingly see him, something good happens. Here he is, quick to the step, the zone block, trying to push everyone out this way. Florida bringing Jackson off the edge to protect against any kind of cutback with the zone blocking team. Searcy drives up the field, forcing him to become a one-gap runner, which is what you always want in the zone. You want to eliminate the multiple options. One gap right to Jackson, the highly touted young freshman at corner. And that is an easy tackle and stop. Nice work there against that play for Florida, setting up second down. 3rd and 4 here by Utah. Florida with a pseudo short small box here. You have 6 in the traditional box, maybe 7, maybe 8. Let's call them flex players. Upon the snap, Florida's going to play with 7 in the box, so certainly enough to make a stop here. Really one of the few examples where Florida doesn't quite control, in my opinion, the gaps on the line of scrimmage, allowing a little crease right here. Linebackers can't get off this block right there, and that leads to a 3rd and 4 pickup. But again, you didn't see this very often. Obviously, Utah converted very few 3rd downs in this game, just 3 of them. This is the second one on a run here, but again, not a whole lot of success on 3rd down for Utah. And one reason was that it was hard for them to run the football. Another reason was they're missing a lot of their best players. So Florida's defense will have more to prove as the season goes on, but Utah in business now, entering Florida's almost red zone area. 1st and 10 now for a play I love, plays that I think really should be featured more in football. I can't tell you why. If you look at the expected value of a play like this, how hard it is to cover it, run this 5 or 6 times a game in different ways, shapes, or form, and I think you can add a lot of pressure to a defense. I've talked about it before in film review. If you watch my channel, you've seen me actually build out how you can run an entire offense on this at times. I'll skip that for today, other than to say this is a nice design. Let's motion our receiver, and who also plays quarterback. Let's then bring him back here in one fluid motion, quick throw back, set up our blockers here to make sure there's enough time for our running back who's sliding out the backside, who's one-on-one with Princely, a defensive end. Now, Florida does account for this. Princely is covering him. The problem is Princely, even though right away he sees it and turns and runs them, he just can't run with that running back. The matchup's not going to work. He has all day back here to throw. Thankfully, he rushes this throw, gets a little excited, and guns it down the field, missing an open and easy touchdown pass right there. But great design by Utah. Again, if you're Florida, you're a D coordinator. You didn't just give that up. You had your defensive end running with it, but they caught you with a really good plan, a really good look. That's a hat tip to the offensive coordinator. Again, that's going to happen, right? That's going to happen, but Florida dodges a bullet there for sure. We've talked a lot on this channel about taking away primary reads. I want you to watch what happens at the top of your screen here. This is an awesome, big, fat check mark for me. Florida's defense takes away this slant route. Doubling the slant, bracketing it inside out. Perfect. That's exactly where he's looking. It's what he wants. Is he here? Yeah, he's here on 2nd and 10, right? But we've talked so much about this in college football, especially with the third-string quarterback here. A good defensive play caller has a feel for what the offense wants to do, what their limitations are, what their strengths are, and can often just take away their first read by design. And if they do, you can see he's fine. He should have hung in here and hit this pass, right? He's fine. He's going to scramble out. Didn't like it. And Florida's going to wind up getting a no gainer on that play, setting up 3rd and 10. So nice call there by Coach Ham. 3rd and 10, and Florida's going to blow another coverage here in the game. Is Kamari Wilson. Is it his fault? It looks to be his fault. Hard to say. Florida seems to be in man with a single high safety. Going to bring a 6-man pressure. We're going to get home here. Here comes your drag across the field. Here is Kamari. Again, I can't say for sure, but he doesn't really move. He just stands there as though he's a hole defender or a rat defender, but hard for that to be the case given that you see him now running on this. No chance he's going to make it. That's going to be a first down, and an easy one at that. So really, Utah should have converted a 4th one. They don't here, thanks to this drop. So they miss a touchdown on a trick play. They miss a conversion here with this one. Florida dodges a couple more bullets. Utah will go on to make a 51-yard field goal here to make it 17-3. After a near pick from Florida on a very crucial drive here with Utah threatening to score before the half and then get the ball back, that would have been a disaster for Florida. It's a super crucial 3rd and 5. Let's focus on Sapp. Right here at the top of your screen, there he is. Let's focus on Sapp. Utah on 3rd and 5 is going to run a screen. Florida's been getting pressure. They've seen the same thing you've seen on film. And look at Sapp. Look at this savvy. Quickly recognizes right now that he does not get blocked at all. Does not get blocked at all by neither the center nor the guard. And he knows that means only one thing, which is screen. Quickly turns and goes to the spot. And boom! Right there, causes the running back to die on this play before it even starts. Even though he doesn't make the tackle, he essentially ends this play. Good pursuit here and here to close this out. 3rd and 5 gets stuffed, and he feels it for good reason. Way to sniff that out. We talked at length last season about how Florida's defensive line would often just pin their ears back and rush no matter what down distance was, no matter what the situation was, and how frustrating that was. Not happening here. A significant sign that this defense is already different and they already have learned more than they learned all of last year. Recognition here of what play is actually coming. Eyes in the backfield here in the zone. Come downhill, close, make a tackle. Pursuit here from the backside. Beautiful stuff, but that all started with Sapp. Florida goes into the half down 17-3, which was a big win for Florida as they needed to get one stop. They'll come out in the second half and they'll have to get another stop. All right, 2nd and 6. Florida still had some issues getting play calls in on time. I think especially when Nate Johnson was in the game. I'm not sure if Coach Ham was I don't know what the deal was, but either way, it was slower than normal for sure. I think Florida was well prepared for Barnes and even for Cam Rising, but I think for Nate Johnson, a little less prepared. However, I think as this game goes on, you're going to see Florida's defense, in my opinion, got better and better. Struggling to get lined up here. We do get lined up here right at the end. We are too far off the line of scrimmage. Things aren't great. Looks like shades of Tony. But Sapp comes in and is going to win a one-on-one battle here. Bam. Shed the block. Florida's gotten so much better in this one-game sample size of shedding blocks. Get into the inside portion of the run here and make a one-arm tackle. I mean, look at the strength right here. What an absolute grown man play. Yeah, absolutely, Sap. I mean, that's just fantastic stuff right there. That is great stuff. It's one reason why you do film review is live on TV. You probably don't catch that. You don't have time to catch that. You just see a tackle, but that is a heroic one-on-one win on 2nd and 6, setting up another third down right out of the gate here in the second half. Florida played man an incredible 49% in this game. It's a dream come true for me personally. I think man has a lot of benefits in the modern game of football that we're playing. I think in this regard here, 50% almost to man is awesome. And right here is an excellent technique by Devin Moore, a guy I really, really like that corner for Florida. He was great last year until obviously he got hurt. And here he is running the slant route. Take a look at that. Running the slant route for the receiver. Nate Johnson throws it anyway. And right there for Devin Moore. But of course for Florida, tipped passes don't turn into picks just yet. That luck is not quite here. He's fired up about it, though. Great play on 3rd and 4 and another third down stop for this Florida defense, keeping Florida in this football game as we head in to the beginning of the third quarter here, early stages of the second half. The details are what make great football teams. Jason Marshall here on the edge. Florida again late to line up here. Not a great look, right? We got Kamari signaling over here. We got a lot of confusion here. But once this ball is snapped, the players, this is a difference from last year, obviously, as a broken record saying that, but immediately look at the gap control. Marshall races to the outside. Obviously, Armstrong has gotten through of what your job is to set the edge. He knows he cannot get beat around the edge. Engage with your hands, create separation, force this back to the inside. Check. This play could have been a disaster. Instead, Shamar James, who had a really excellent game, you're seeing him all over this film, closes in, as does Miguel Mitchell. Hit, bam, right here, and that turns a bad situation into a perfectly fine one, setting up another third down. Really good stuff there, Jason Marshall. All right, 3rd and 4. Look at Florida's alignment here. You got to love it. There's no safeties here. No one's sitting back over here. We're not watching as Florida's defenders start with their heels in the middle of the end zone like we saw so frequently on film all season long. We are seeing up close and personal here, playing aggressively, taking it to Utah, and this is a really solid play call by Coach Ham. There's nothing here, right? You can't see this on your view here, but this is locked up. There's doubles on both receivers over here. Everything they wanted was to the left side. They're running a route over here as a flare out. It's not a real route. Nothing's there. This is dead. This play is dead. Florida's got good edge control here. Sapp is trying to get to the edge over here. You can see that he's not coming in here. He's trying to stay outside here. Take a look at that. Great. We're controlling these windows here. Very nice. And then I believe right here, this is holding. From the end zone angle, you can definitely see this, but he is trying to, right now, Sapp is trying to disengage from that block and go over here. Trying again. He's trying so hard that right now he's completely getting held. You can tell this by his leg angle facing the sideline, yet his helmet angle is facing over here. He can't quite get his body turned because 78 is holding him. Look at his jersey right there being pulled up. Jersey totally pulled up, yanked. Let's go, and by now it's too late. I do think that if Sapp is not held right here and he's able to disengage, he gets the angle here. This third down is stopped. The first down's all the way over there. This third down is stopped, and this play does not occur. Unfortunately for Florida, the interception that they have winds up in a third down running touchdown when the play call was really solid and Florida shut down everything Utah wanted first. So Florida's defensive second half that started so well winds up giving up another score. But if you're keeping score at home, outside of the first touchdown, you've got to score because of a special teams penalty. You've got to score because of a muff punt. And now you've got to score here because of an interception. So Florida's defense, seemingly better than the numbers would indicate score-wise. Let's see what the rest of the game holds. All right, Florida down 24-3. Right, so significant hole here for Florida. Tight front right here, right? 5 inside the tackles, facing a spread option quarterback here, Nate Johnson. I love this alignment. We're going to send Scooby right through. Had a really nice game. Fly through the A-gap right here. Whammo right through it. And then you're going to get a gift. He's going to lose the throw, right? He's got this little throw here. Florida's going to give Nate Johnson that. Loses the ball. And if it's not for, again, a super fortuitous bounce that slides right to him, Florida's got 4 guys there available for it. Goes right to him, sets up a 2nd and long. Either way, Florida, the right alignment, taking away any kind of inside run, making Utah do something they do not want to do with Nate Johnson, leads to an unforced error, if you will, and a good result for Florida. This play, to me, is just a thing of beauty. 3rd and 13. Florida going to send 4 men here. Princely gets a win. That's a win right there. Scooby gets a win right here off the side. Here's Sapp again coming through, right? Closing, meeting at the quarterback. Athletic quarterback, nowhere for him to escape. He's going to dump off this little screen. Sapp again, recognizing it, on his horse, takes a good angle. Here comes Shamar flying in. Here we go off the edge with either Perkins or Jaden Hill. I can't tell yet. It's going to be Jaden Hill. And this is just awesome. I mean, come on. A triangle here. Look at this, right? A triangle of goodness. Gap, gap, side. Nowhere to go. Team tackle, 3rd and 13 off the field. Absolutely excellent stuff. Turnover on downs from Florida. Utah again in Florida's territory. Let's see what this brings. Back to Barnes at quarterback. Jason Marshall going to come in a corner blitz. Look at the rush lane. Now, previous years, this is probably what happens. But you don't want to go to where the football is. You want to go to where the football is going. Oh, boom. Good move here, Jason Marshall. Now you get to be on this highlight reel. Not only did you read it correctly, but you made a sweet tackle. Right? Great play. Excellent discipline. It's easy when you get your number called in a corner blitz to go hero mode and someone to blow up this running back. But do your job. Recognize you got to stay home. If anything, he probably was a little too aggressive with this step here because this tackle had to become a shoestring tackle. But no matter what, that is excellent. Excellent play. A loss there of 10 or so yards. Great play call. Again, Coach Ham, great play call. Had a really good feel for what Utah was doing. He's keeping Florida in this game. It's 24-3, but there's still time. The defense being dealt a really bad hand here, keeping Florida alive. 3rd and 21. In previous seasons, this would have meant a first down, a wide open guy in the zone, inexplicably not making any sense. This year, it means 6 guys lined up on the line of scrimmage. We could run a simulated pressure. We could bring them all. We could bring some. We could bring none. Florida elects on this play, bam, to run a simulated pressure. We're only going to bring 4. But here's the beauty of this. Princely shot out of a cannon right here is going to apply pressure with a 3-man rush. Surprise, Scooby's not going. 3-man rush, and Princely is going to get here. Look at this. Tremendous speed rush off the edge, forcing a quick throw. And now on your screen, you're thinking, oh no, I've seen this before. No one is here perhaps. But instead, also coming downhill like a blur is Shamar James. Wrap up, tackle at the line of scrimmage basically on 3rd and 21. This is the kind of defense you want to see. We're not content to give up 18 yards on 3rd down and put up our fist and say it's 4th down. We are coming downhill. We're going to punish you for these plays. And Shamar James, excellent tackle, excellent pressure by Princely. Really nice stuff from a tactical play design. Florida's defense keeping Florida's offense in the game. All right, all of a sudden, a football game, the most dangerous lead in sports is a 2-0 lead. This is the same thing, a 2-score lead, a 2-touchdown lead. Teams really feel the pressure now. They felt no pressure. There's plenty of time left. Although, if you watch the offensive breakdown, this really would have been more ideal with 12 minutes left. Florida's defense know they need to get a stop. They must get a stop here. And now what do we see? We're going to run another scrape exchange. Here comes Scooby. Everything's looking good here except for right here. All right, you are the edge defender. That is your job now. This is your edge. You need to be outside of this blocker. Instead, we go hero mode, and he's doing a job that's not his, which is right here. The old classic Will Muschamp, pound the whiteboard and do your job. You go here, this play's dead. Instead, you try to make the play, which is not yours to make. Stay in your lane, and this then gets a little loose. Here's Jordan Castle, the freshman. Now he's peering inside. He knows he needs to be outside, except he jumps inside. Which now we're going to be off to the races on the outside. That's not good. and a big gain ensues on first down, sort of recapturing some momentum for Utah. All right, 1st and 10, Florida really needs to get a stop here. Nunnery on the edge, another linebacker transfer into Florida, holding the edge nicely here. Florida, again, look at the line of scrimmage control, losing a little bit of the battle here, but the gaps are nice. Look at the orange helmets. Here's a gap, and here's a gap. So he's got a two-way gap. We got the backside controlled here with Cersei. We've got a defender coming down in the box to fill this. Nunnery here, I'm going to be okay with this. Nunnery really should hold this edge here and not allow anything to go outside of him, knowing he's got a teammate coming to help in this gap right here. This is Kimber who comes down. Kimber does a nice job to recognize Nunnery slid inside. Not what you really want to do here, but he does, because he's far enough in the backfield here, he forces a reroute of the running backs. I'm going to be more okay with this here. But again, I think his best job is to keep driving up the field to the outside, allowing this play to occur in the box, in the gap right there. But regardless, here comes Kimber. Does a nice job here. Now, if you're Kimber, you'd like to make a better tackle here, but I appreciate that Kimber is trying not to just come flying in, dive and miss. He wants to contain. It's 1st and 10, and here he gets kind of the worst end of this, and it actually turns out to a much bigger gain than the start of the play looked like. But Florida with good gap control, good gap fill, aggressive downhill defense, knowing they have to get a stop here. Utah still picks up some good yardage, setting them up with a second and reasonable at this stage of the game. 2nd and 4 here, Scooby. He's going to scrape across the formation. Here he is. Nice job. Again, we saw a lot on film last year. Florida's linebackers are kind of sit here and wait. Now we're entering into the fray here. He enters in. He's going to slide and scrape across the formation perfectly. This is really good stuff. Utah executes their second level blocks nicely here. We're in a bit of trouble on this play. You need your linebacker to get home. He does indeed. Has a chance to make a tackle for a very minimal gain. Just loses control of that. And Utah picks up a crucial first down, which will kill more time. Again, you're going to give up some places of defense, but you're seeing a lot more competency here out of Florida. They're the reason why the offense is still in the game, but they have to get a stop here. The clock is working against them. Utah now threatening in multiple ways, entering Florida's side of the field. Here is Perkins, a guy that, again, when he knows the assignment is nice, he's going to come flying around as a free, unblocked man. Florida's going to play man defense, cover one. I like the aggression here. You know Utah's probably running it. They've got the wild Ute out here, edge control. Look at the gap control. Look at the fill. This is perfect technique here by the defense. Perkins makes a tackle while we're waiting for other tacklers there. Really great to see this. Bam. Great stop on first down, bringing up second down. 2nd and 9. Florida going to be aggressive against the run again. Let's look at what they choose to do. They're going to send Scooby off the edge, knowing they have the dangerous runner Nate Johnson here. They're going to keep him in between these tackles. That is the goal here. Keep him in between. Look at the flow here from the defensive end on the backside. We're keeping this structure very nice. Scooby, look at his angle here. His angle is outwards. I love this angle. He's shooting outwards. He is not trying to run to where he's going. He's running to his outside shoulder, which is what you want. Don't chase straight up. Don't chase inside. Chase this outside shoulder. If he goes back this way, you're golden. That's what you got your help for, right? Chases the outside shoulder, forces a throw right here. And then underneath, immediately, as I love seeing every time these guys catch the ball, you got a Florida defender right there making a tackle. And that Florida defender is normally Shamar James, who's having a sensational game here, popping up all over the film. Great stuff, setting up a super important third down. 3rd and 9 from the Gators. Florida's going to employ man with some brackets. I mean, this is awesome. What world am I living in here? We're getting everything on the wish list. Man up top. Safety over top here. We're going to get some brackets down here in this area, and the most likely places Utah wants to throw, and that is where he opens up and wants to go, and it is not there. So check mark for Coach Ham on the play calling. Here we go. Great win by guys we have not mentioned yet, getting some love. Caleb Banks, Kelby Collins getting in here. Nice rush off the start. Just a 3-man rush, and we're getting home, right? We're getting home. We're putting pressure on right in here, and then bam, right afterwards, here comes Scooby again to finish on the edge. Use that speed, close, plant, drive, tackle. Ball goes to nobody. That flag is not on Florida. It becomes a holding call. which Florida will choose to decline, allowing Utah to take an option at a 55-yard field goal, which they miss. Had Florida accepted that penalty, it would have been a long 3rd down and 19 from Florida's 47. So certainly not in field goal range. And then Utah would have got another play, some more time to run off the clock. Either way, whether this is a mistake or not is up to you. Had they kicked a field goal, Florida is still down 2 scores. So it does not violate the rule of scores, although you do have to get 2 2-point conversions, which certainly is not going to be nearly as ideal. It's not what you want ideally. But again, if you do choose to accept the penalty, the time is going to keep running, and then it's going to run again after the play. So you might lose 1 minute of time. I think ideally here, you want to generally accept that penalty and play defense, given how well your defense had played. But given the time crunch Florida was under, and I don't even know if they really thought of this that deeply, it probably did save them 1 minute of time, which would have been crucial had they been able to score, largely because their offense had ran a 7-minute drill and not a 4-minute drill. But I digress. At any rate, this is the last play for Florida's defense. They held Utah to just 20 yards in the second half. And although Utah was generally seeing the game out, I hope you could see the progression from snap 1 on this defensive film breakdown to the last snap. I think it was significant. There's a lot more questions Florida's defense will have to answer versus offenses that provide different challenges. But I think it was off to a very solid start, unlike the offense. Florida's defense certainly played well enough to win this game. I think Coach Armstrong had a really solid debut in this game. I think he's bringing energy. I think he's bringing tactical prowess, and I think he's bringing good teaching to this unit. This unit already looks much more polished, and they played a ton of new guys. So hats off to them. We're going to see what the future holds for them. We'll break it down each and every week here on the Gator Nation Football Podcast. And as always, I'm your host, James. I look forward to being with you in future weeks. Any feedback or comments you have, hit me up with them. We're always looking to improve this experience for you. Until next time, I'm James. Go Gators.